Hey mere pyare bachcho and welcome back. I know your exams are just around the corner, so today we're diving into a super interesting chapter from your book Footprints Without Feet. It's called A Question of Trust. And let me tell you, this is not your usual story about a thief. We're about to meet someone very, very different. So let's kick things off with a big question. You must have heard this saying, right? Honor among thieves? The whole idea that even core log have their own rules and ethics. But is that really true? Or is it just something we see in movies? Well, this story is going to put that very idea to the test, so keep this question in your mind as we go along. All right, so first up, let's meet our main character. And I'm calling him the honest thief for a reason. His name is Horace Danby. Now, if you met him, you'd think he's a perfectly normal, respectable man. But, looks can be deceiving, can't they? So look at this. Horace Danby is kind of living a double life. On one hand, you have this respectable guy, about 50 years old, a really successful locksmith. But there's a secret side. He robs exactly one safe every single year. And the reason he does it? Well, that's the most surprising part of all. It's not for fancy cars or big houses. It's for something else entirely. So what was his motivation? Was he just a greedy criminal? Not at all. Believe it or not, Horace was a book lover, a proper kitabi kita. He only stole enough money once a year so he could buy rare and expensive books. Can you imagine that? His only vice was his passion for reading. He planned everything so carefully just to fund his library. So, this brings us to this year's plan. His target is a house called Shotover Grange. This is his big annual project, and he's convinced he has come up with the perfect, foolproof plan. Let's see just how perfect it really was. And the prize this time? It's huge. We're talking about jewels worth nearly 15 lakh rupees. For Horace, this isn't just money. This represents a whole year's supply of precious books. This one job could make his entire year. And just look at his level of preparation. This wasn't some random job. He studied the house for 2 whole weeks. He knew when the family was away, where they kept the key. He even knew the pet dog's name was Sherry. In his mind, nothing could possibly go wrong. It was absolutely perfect. But as they say, life has other plans. Horace's big weakness wasn't some high-tech alarm system or a tough security guard. No, it was something much, much simpler. It was a bowl of flowers in the house. You see, poor Horace had a bad case of hay fever, and one little achoo was about to ruin everything. So just picture this. Horace is inside, ready to work, but he can't stop sneezing. And just then, he hears a voice. He realizes he is not alone. And bacho, this is where the story takes a complete U-turn. And who does he see? A young, confident lady wearing a red dress. But the strange thing is, she's not screaming. She's not calling the police. She is totally calm, almost as if she finds the situation funny. Her cool attitude just throws Horace completely off his game. This picture pretty much sums it all up, doesn't it? Look at Horace. He's absolutely terrified, thinking he's going back to prison. And then look at her, cool, calm, and completely in control. The hunter has just become the hunted. Now, the next part is just brilliant. You have to see how this mysterious lady masterfully sets a trap for our so-called expert thief, using his own fear against him. Her story is pure genius because it's so believable. She tells him she's the owner's wife and that she's forgotten the code to the safe. She says she needs her jewels for a party that night, and then she offers him a deal he can't refuse. Open the safe for me, and I'll forget I ever saw you. For poor, terrified Horace, this sounds like a dream come true. And right then, in that moment of relief, thinking he's about to be saved, Horace makes the biggest mistake of his life, the #1 rule of his profession. He takes off his gloves. In that 1 second, all his careful planning goes down the drain because now his fingerprints are all over that safe. So Horace leaves the house feeling like the luckiest man in the world. He's safe. He spends the next 2 days feeling relieved. But on the 3rd day, there's a knock on his door. It's the police. And they're arresting him for stealing jewels from Shotover Grange. So what happened? Who was the real culprit? It was the lady in red all along. She was never the owner's wife. She was another thief, a much, much cleverer one. She totally played him, used him to open the safe, and then disappeared with the jewels, leaving Horace's fingerprints behind as the only clue. What a twist, right? Just brilliant. Okay, so now that we've enjoyed the story, let's switch to exam mode. Let's quickly go over the important lessons and questions from this chapter. Okay, here's a very, very common exam question. If Horace was such a meticulous planner, why did his so-called foolproof plan fail so badly? What went wrong? Just take a second and think about it. When you answer this, make sure to include these key points. First, his hay fever was the trigger that made him careless. But his real downfall was that he trusted the young lady too easily. He was simply outsmarted by a better thief, and this led to his biggest mistake, taking off his gloves. It was a combination of all these things.
And what's the big model here, bachcho? It's a simple one, but so important. Appearances can be deceptive. जो जैसा दिखता है, वैसा होता नहीं है. Horace looked respectable, but was a thief. The lady looked innocent, but was an even bigger thief.
And the final irony? Horace ends up in prison, working as an assistant librarian. He's finally surrounded by books, the thing he loved most, but none of them are his. And now whenever anyone even mentions the phrase honor among thieves, he gets absolutely furious. He learned the hard way that there is no such thing. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Okay, yes, Horace was a thief, but he was punished for this robbery, the one the lady in red actually committed. He got caught. But was it really justice? Do you think his punishment was fair? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please drop a comment below. All right, everyone, that was our quick summary of A Question of Trust. I really hope this helps you score full marks on this chapter. If you found this useful, please do hit that like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to tell me which chapter you want next in the comments. Study hard, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!